Hi, everyone, and welcome to our series on how to edit video in Davinci Resolve. My name is Frank Spangler, and I'll be your instructor for this series. I've been a video producer now for about 35 years and have been editing video since before it was even possible to edit on a computer. I have worked with Avid Systems, Adobe, Premiere Pro, Grass Valley, Edius Pro, and about a year and a half ago, I switched to this amazing video editor solution called Davinci Resolve. And ever since I first started using it, I've wanted to start promoting it and start teaching others how to use it. But I thought it would be best to wait a bit and become a little more familiar with the software. It's such an extensive software that I'm still learning new things every time I sit down and work with it. But I have reached a point now where I believe I have a lot to share, especially with people who are just checking it out or for people who are brand new to editing video. That is one of the great things about Davinci Resolve. Blackmagic lets people download a free version of their software so that people can start trying it out, especially if they're editing video for the first time, without spending any money. And the great thing about that is that the free version is not like a 10-day trial or a 30-day trial. You can keep using the free version of Davinci Resolve forever. You can even keep upgrading the software. Every time Davinci Resolve comes out with a new version, you can upload the free version to your computer and start using all the new features. The free version allows you to use about 85% of the features that the paid studio version offers. Plenty of power for new users to get their feet wet and see if video editing is for them. After a year or so, you'll probably want to upgrade to the full version, but then it's only $300 to get the full studio version. And that includes free upgrades for life, which is a fantastic deal. Other video editing softwares wants you to pay something every month to use their software. And so this is free upgrades for the rest of your life, $300 to buy in. And today, with this course, free on YouTube, I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know to start your journey into editing video on your computer. First of all, a few things about this course. Number one, I'll be teaching from the paid version of Davinci. It's called the studio version. And so if I show you a feature in one of our lessons that doesn't really work on your computer, Davinci will let you know if that's because it's a feature that isn't available on the free version, so that you know that it's not something that you have done. It's just not a feature of the paid version. But you should know that even those features that might be grayed out in the free version, they're not critical for you to finish up a beautiful video to share with the world. Number two, I'm going to be recording two types of videos. In addition to this course on how to edit a project step by step, we'll take an actual real-life project that I'm working on and go through every stage of the edits so that by the end of this series, you'll know how to edit your own project. In addition to that, I'm going to make a number of quick tips videos that explain some of the hidden features of the program, some that are difficult to really figure out naturally. So if you want to see those as well, I recommend subscribing to our channel and activating the notifications so that YouTube will let you know each time I release one of those. Number three, for the best possible video editing experience, I always recommend that people should have two computer monitors. people who are new to video editing may never have experienced this before, to have two monitors, two displays when they're working on a program. But believe me, it's really helpful when you're editing in a complex program like a video editor to have two screens, two monitors. And the thing is that the software that I use to capture this tutorial really only works on one screen. And so all of the tutorials that I'll be showing you will be using Davinci on one screen. Just know that if you can set up two monitors, it will be a much better editing experience even than what I show you on the one screen. I'll maybe from time to time show you what the second screen would look like, but most of the tutorials are going to have to be on the one screen. Just be aware that if you do have two monitors, it would be good for you to change the setting in the program so that Davinci is displaying across your two monitors, and that way the options that you have available will be much more visible to you. Number 4, I'm recording these tutorials on a Mac. However, Davinci Resolve also works great on PCs. So if you are on a PC, that's no problem. Download the free PC version and follow along on your PC. Almost everything that I show you in the tutorials on the Mac will look the same on your PC. Just one thing. As I'm going through the tutorials, when I refer to those common keyboard shortcuts that use the command button on the Mac, for example, unlike other instructors, I'm not going to stop and say, oh, if you're on a PC, that's the control button. I think most everybody that has a PC, that has watched tutorials recorded on the Mac, knows that whenever the Mac person says command something, that you can do the same thing on your PC using the control button. So I'm not going to take up your time or screen time to add that little caveat for PC users. I'm not trying to be snobbish, a Mac snob here, because I was a dedicated PC person for 35 years. Love the PCs. But for video editing, I have recently switched to the Mac, and I have found that the new Mac architecture, the new Mac silicon, really adds a little bit of an advantage to decoding some of the new codecs that are coming on some of the new cameras. So that's why I switched. Otherwise, PCs are great. One last thing before we get started. My students in the past have written in on the comments section below the videos how they wish that I would speak a little faster. And I think I do speak a little. I tend to speak slowly. And that may be because on other YouTube channels, my wife and I teach English. And over the years, many years of teaching English, I think I have developed a speaking style of speaking very slowly and distinctly, carefully pronouncing each word over on those channels. And I'm afraid that I probably bring that over sometimes to some of my other YouTube channels. I also get a lot of comments from students that are living in different parts of the world where English is not their first language, telling me how much they appreciate the fact that I do speak slowly and distinctly, that they are able to understand my lessons better than most other English speakers. Some students tell me that other instructors, because they speak so fast and because they assume that students already know a lot about the software, that they're just not able to follow the lessons at all. Whereas when they come to my channel, they appreciate the fact that I speak slower, I demonstrate things slower, and I tend to demonstrate the lessons in a step-by-step method so that anybody brand new to video editing or just switching to Davinci are going to be able to clearly follow the same steps and get the same results And by the end of the series, they know how to edit videos on their computer. So some like it, some don't. And what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to try and balance it out so that we get the best of both worlds. I'm going to try and speak a little faster than I normally have, but also keep it step by step for the new learner. And if I'm still speaking a little bit slow for some, remember there is a setting on YouTube that you can change the speed of the tutorial. So you can bump it up to 1.5 or even 2 times the speed, and that might be more your speed, the speed that you're used to. So keep that in mind. Okay, with that introduction, let's get started with an orientation to Davinci Resolve. All right, this is exciting, the beginning of a new series. Let's go ahead and launch Davinci Resolve. You'll notice that we're on version 18, and this is the studio version. As I mentioned, we're going to be working with the paid version. And when you see studio, as you launch your program, you'll know that you are working with the paid version. Otherwise, it just says Davinci 18. All right, if you have been working with Davinci for a while, all of your projects are going to show up here with little thumbnails to help you identify the project that you are working with, and you can go ahead and launch. In our next lesson, we'll start from scratch so that none of these projects show up, and we'll show you how to get going on a project right from the beginning, right after you've installed the software. In this video, I just want to give you an orientation to how Davinci works. Let's go ahead and launch one of these projects so that we can take a look around. All right, here we have the project opened up. The first thing I'd like to say is that Davinci Resolve takes a modular approach to its editing interface. You'll notice all of the icons down here at the bottom of the screen. And these are the 7 different modules that you will work with when you are editing with Davinci Resolve. The first module over here, let's click on it. It's for sorting out your media. And this is very helpful when you're starting a project. You can go through all of your hard drives that you know that you have media on. For example, right now I have probably 8 or 9 hard drives attached to my computer. They're showing up over here. And I can open up any one of these and sort through it and click on any one and bring it over to a viewer. And as I scan through it, I say, yeah, that's one I want to use. I'm going to add that to my project. So I come down to this lower section and select a bin, we call them. All of these are bins. Don't worry, we'll show you how to make these bins so that you can sort your media into bins. For today, I just want to give you a brief orientation. Let's say we want to bring this clip into the folder called Canon Video. We just drag and drop it in there. The next one is a very quick and easy way to assemble your edit. It's called the Cuts module. And I haven't really used this module that much. But some people find it a way to very quickly assemble a cuts-only edit. Here's where I spend most of my time. It's called the Edit module. This is the module that I'm most familiar with coming from other editing software programs. You have 4 or 5 windows here. Let's maybe take a look at them. The first one, of course, is our timeline. This is where we put all of our media clips assembled in just the right way, matching up with voiceovers and music and that type of thing. And we can visually see all the clips as they lined up. That's our timeline. Over here in this window, we have currently, we're viewing our source media. And Davinci allows you to see these in different ways. If you want more information about the media, you can look at it that way. You could line them up so you have more room to see the media. So lots of different ways that you can set this up to make it the way you like. So click on any of these thumbnails and they show up in what's called a play monitor. To help you determine whether this is a clip that you want to use in your edit. And if you do, you can set in and out points using your keyboard shortcuts or the icons at the bottom of the screen here. Once you've got it selected, you can easily drag and drop it down into your timeline. And once you've dropped something on your timeline, of course, the video monitor that you have here now switches from the play monitor to the record monitor. So what you're seeing now is the output of the timeline. You go back here, select another clip, and now you're viewing it as a play monitor. This is a restriction of the fact that we're just working with one monitor. If we were using Davinci Resolve spread out over 2 computer monitors, you'd see 2 monitors here. One would be your play monitor to preview your clips, and then the second monitor would be your timeline review monitor. Some editors call it the record monitor.
But that program has finished.
All right, we have over here another window that displays our audio meters so that we can keep track of how we're doing on our audio. And then this 5th window over here is what's called a video inspector and a transformer, we might call it. Select any media on your timeline, and you'll notice that it kind of has a red border around it that lets you know that that is the piece of media that you've selected. And over here, now we will be able to manipulate and transform that video. So for example, if we want to zoom in on it to get a little closer crop on it, we can position her over, up and down. We can even rotate the angle, pitch and yaw, as well as doing dynamic zooms and compositing, changing the speed of the video, stabilizing it. All those things we'll cover in future lessons. I just want for now to identify what this window does. It allows you to easily and quickly manipulate the video clips and media that are on your timeline. All right, so those are the main windows of our edit module. Let's go on to the Fusion. And this particular module allows you to do a lot of compositing. If you are familiar with After Effects from Adobe, well, a lot of the things that you can do in After Effects, you can do right here in this Fusion module and not have to go out to a third-party software. You can do it right within your video editor. And I haven't actually spent a lot of time learning this module of Davinci Resolve. I'm kind of an After Effects guy, and because I'm really busy and haven't had the chance to sit down and learn Fusion, I would probably say if that is something that you are really interested in learning, that you should probably seek out another instructor who kind of focuses in on the Fusion module of Davinci Resolve. This is the next component. It's where you do all of your color grading, and I have to say that this is probably one of the best features of Davinci Resolve is the color grading features that it has. And in fact, Davinci Resolve started out as a color grader. That's all it did at the beginning, was color correct for the Hollywood film market. It used to sell for $1 million, just this one component of the software. Today, all of the technology of that color grading is coming into this free program that you can download from the internet. All right, in addition to the color grading, our next component allows you to apply effects and EQ to audio. Just a wonderful component. Right inside the edit software, you don't have to go out to a third-party software to correct your audio. And then the last component is where you go when you're finished your project and you want to export it. And Davinci has an excellent exporter. So many options here in this export component. You can work with a number of different common formats that are out there: AVI, QuickTime, the MP4. And then once you have chosen which format you want to use, then it has also a number of codecs that you can choose from. So pick the ones that you like the most. I usually go with QuickTime H.264 for my exports. And then it just has a lot of options, what kind of bit rate that you want. Just an excellent exporter. All right, well, that should give you a good overview of this amazing video editing software, Davinci Resolve. I hope that you enjoyed this introduction to our series and that you will join us for the rest of the videos. I'm anticipating releasing 2 or 3 a week, and we'll probably end up having about 30 lessons in the end. And also, don't forget, we'll also be releasing some quick tips videos to help you solve those little problems that you might run into. Well, that's it for today. We'll see you next time here at Learning Media Skills. So long for now.